Good morning. I'm Julie Moore. I'm the Secretary of Natural Resources here in Vermont, and I am absolutely thrilled to be able to welcome all of you here today to kick off Clean Water Week. Vermont is a state of green mountains and blue waters known for its natural beauty, and we are here to reaffirm our commitment to the stewardship of those resources. Early on in his tenure, Governor Scott spoke about the three priorities for this administration, which are making Vermont more affordable, growing our economy, and protecting the most vulnerable. And I was pleased to hear that he extended that most vulnerable designation to Lake Champlain, our crown jewel. And thrilled further by the commitment he showed in a 70% increase in the funding in his initial budget for clean water work here in Vermont. Our stewardship of our water resources requires all of us to adopt clean water habits, and the state has a suite of tools working in conjunction with our partners to help. And you're going to hear about a number of those efforts today, but they include incentives, obligations, and education. And there are more than 70 events taking place this week throughout Vermont, providing opportunities for all to learn more about clean water. So I want to encourage all Vermonters to take advantage and find one in their backyard to learn more. So it's my pleasure to be able to introduce Governor Scott and continue this celebration of Clean Water Week.
Well, good morning, and thank you for helping to mark this important week. Thank you, Phelan Fretz of the Echo Leahy Center for the Lake Champlain for hosting us here on the beautiful waterfront of Lake Champlain. I also want to thank Mayor Weinberger, Wynn Smith, Brian Kemp, and Heather Furman for joining me today to talk about the importance of clean water. And thanks to our congressional delegation for championing Vermont's clean water priorities in Washington. I also want to thank our Natural Resources Secretary, Julie Moore, and her entire team who continue to dedicate their time, their expertise, and in many cases, their entire careers to the health of our waters. Today, I am proclaiming this week, August 20th to 26th, Vermont Clean Water Week. This is an especially important time to hold Clean Water Week. Tomorrow marks the 6th anniversary of Tropical Storm Irene. It's a time of year we reflect on the storm, its impact, and how Vermonters came together to respond. It's also an opportunity to take stock in the importance of our water resources, our rivers, streams, lakes, ponds, and wetlands that help make Vermont a wonderful place to live, to do business, and to visit. This anniversary is also a good time to recognize how our clean water initiatives bring benefits on many fronts. Investment in clean water helps us better respond to flooding, improves the roads we travel on every day, and helps our businesses, our farms, manufacturers, cheese producers, and breweries invest in their future and in ours. And by protecting our infrastructure, we are saving municipalities and Vermonters money in the long run. Additionally, Clean Water Week is an important opportunity for us to celebrate the many efforts of Vermont businesses, farms, municipalities, organizations, and citizens who are working hard to help keep our rivers, streams, lakes, ponds, and wetlands clean. Our joint efforts and commitment of time and resources demonstrates our all-in approach to clean water, so I thank all of you for your participation. As many of you know, on my first day in office, I signed an executive order outlining strategic goals to my administration to grow the economy, make Vermont more affordable, and take care of the most vulnerable, and protect that most vulnerable, which is some of it in most respects, our environment. I recognize that our economy and the health of our communities depend on clean water. Clean rivers, lakes, ponds, and wetlands are incredibly important resources for Vermonters and for our visitors. I think it's a safe bet that each of us has a favorite place to swim, fish, boat, or enjoy the peace and quiet of the water. And I know that many of us, I have my favorites as well throughout the Central Vermont area. And our waterways are also a very big draw for many, many visitors who support a strong tourism economy. Vermont tourism generates $2.5 billion annually, and much of that can be attributed to our lakes, ponds, and rivers. As well, our outdoor recreation, including swimming, fishing, and boating, accounts for 34,000 jobs which rely on Vermont's natural and resources abound. It is why the Vermont Outdoor and Recreation Economic Collaborative, which I announced earlier in June, is engaging outdoor recreation businesses and other stakeholders to promote an environmental stewardship and marketing to support this growing segment of our economy. While Clean Water Week is a time to celebrate our waters, it's also a time to remind ourselves that restoring and protecting these water resources is a long-term commitment. Some places around the state are struggling with unsafe water conditions. Some sections of Lake Champlain experience harmful algae blooms. This week gives us an opportunity to show our continued commitment to help the impacted waterways and communities and take action for clean water statewide. Our all-in approach brings everyone together, municipalities, businesses, farmers, federal and state agencies, watershed groups, and citizens to work together for clean water. On that note, I'd like to thank Vermont legislators who supported my proposal to increase the state's investment in clean water by an additional $15 million over the next 2 years. By finding common goals and common ground, we can protect Vermont's waters, maintain our working landscape of farms and forests, create jobs and promote prosperous communities, and also in a targeted, cost-effective way that achieves results. Clean Water Week is also the opportunity to showcase your work. Where Vermonters say all in, we mean it. More than 90 businesses, organizations, and state parks are sponsoring Clean Water Week and are offering nearly 60 clean water events across the state. During this week, you can visit a farm to learn about innovative practices to protect water quality in Addison, tour wastewater treatment facilities in Burlington, Essex Junction, Londonderry, Sharon, South Burlington, and Warren. Celebrate summer in the wild and scenic Upper Missisquoi and Trout Rivers in Troy. Take a bike tour at Rutland's Rain Gardens. Help monitor water quality in the White River watershed, and much, much more. I encourage everyone to learn about and participate in clean water activities in your region. And you can learn more at the website cleanwater.vermont.gov. I want to thank you again for joining me in celebration of Clean Water Week. And I'm not sure who's speaking next, but I'm going to let Julie take care of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor Scott. And as he indicated, it is a diverse group of partners that have come together and will make Clean Water Week a success. It's my pleasure to be able to introduce some of them, starting with Burlington Mayor Miro Weinberger.
Good morning, everyone. It's exciting to be with you on this maybe unprecedented early Monday morning press conference to start the week here. And it's an exciting week, and I appreciate what the governor and Secretary Moore are doing to bring attention and energy around the critical issue of clean water. Certainly, from the very beginning of Burlington's history, we have been defined by clean water and by this lake that we stand next to. And as we have faced challenges with the lake's health in recent years, Burlington has been and remains extremely committed to turning the direction of the phosphorus pollution and making progress with respect to our TMDL efforts. Burlington was the second municipality in the state to create a stormwater utility in 2009, and in my now 5+ years, we have, during an austere time, a time when we've been holding the line on a great deal of municipal spending and fees and taxation, we have not held back with respect to funding clean water. We've increased the funding to that stormwater utility by approximately 50% in two increases since 2012. And we're using that money to invest in innovative ways in protecting the lake. We are building green infrastructure projects. We are restoring watershed areas. We are improving our combined sewer outflows in ways that I think a couple of decades back would have been hard to imagine. Burlington's efforts remain very committed going forward with the major infrastructure projects that we are undertaking right now, whether it's rebuilding the Burlington Town Center and ensuring that those 8 blocks around the Burlington Town Center both ensure that the project itself dramatically improves the stormwater runoff condition, and that we address some of the water flowing down from higher up on the area. The Main Street project we have planned for the next few years also would have a major stormwater and green infrastructure component. This is something we're very excited about and very committed to. For it to matter though, for it to be effective, we need to be working with everybody else that's up here today, and it's exciting to be standing with all of you, and we certainly need strong leadership from the state to ensure that we move towards a system that is fair, effective, and efficient. That we and other mayors and the League of Cities and Towns have long believed is the route towards actually making progress on this issue. And it is wonderful to stand here today with Governor Scott and hear his words of inspiration and commitment towards moving towards that future. Welcome everyone, have a great Clean Water Week, and thank you again to ECHO for hosting this important event.
Thank you, Mayor. Burlington is certainly leading the way with their demonstration of clean water work, and a tribute to this beautiful waterfront we're able to enjoy today. I'm now pleased to welcome Wynn Smith from the Sugarbush Resort to give a business perspective on the importance of clean water.
Good morning, everybody. Governor Scott, Mayor Weinberger, thank you very much. You know, my clear message is clean water is good business. And I remember as a young child, I used to go to Kemp in northern Maine. We had a Maine guide that took us out on canoeing and hiking trips. And I just assumed you could dip your canteen in the streams and fill it up and have clean water. And then I grew up, and I traveled and I saw water quality in Latin America, in Asia, in India, but in Cleveland, where they had a burning river. And you'd never dip your canteen in that. So I realized that you can't just assume that water is clean. You have to take a personal responsibility to make sure that it is and remains so, not only for us, but for our future generations. So at Sugarbush, we're known as a ski resort. We're actually in the water business. I have 7 employees that spend the majority of their time on water quality issues, from stormwater to drinking water to wastewater to storm and brook restoration. And so we feel that we have not only a legal and a regulatory obligation, we have a moral obligation, but frankly, it's good for business. If we're known as a business that is respectful of the environment, that is doing its utmost to upgrade the stream qualities, I think people are going to choose us as a place where they want to recreate and do business. So that would be my message, is we're here to do the right thing. But if you're a business person, it's also good business sense to do the right thing. This week, we're participating in the Clean Water Initiative by actually offering a tour of our water plant. In addition to being a ski resort, we actually are a regulated water utility. So we access water from the mountain, which is clean, and we want to make sure it remains clean and safe for all the people who use it. And it really is quite amazing to see what goes into a treatment plant. So if you're around the valley and you want to have some fun and recreate, also come by and see what we do in the private sector to actually manage the water utility that supplies water, not just our resort, but to the mountains, condos, and the homes there as well. I just end by saying, in the context of good business, in 2012, we were really honored to receive the Governor's Environmental Excellence Award for getting Riceburg Stream off the impaired list. And that was an initiative that began back in the 1990s. We partnered with the Agency of Natural Resources, the Friends of the Mad River, and finally got the stream off the impaired list along with 2 others. And that, again, just represents something that the private sector can do that takes initiative, but has wonderful dividends if it comes forward. So thank you all for participating. We look forward to a great week and clean water in Vermont forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Another important partner in all of this work is our agricultural community. Agriculture is an important contributor to our economy. It's important to the look and feel of Vermont's landscape, and it's also incredibly important to water quality. And we are really fortunate here in Vermont to have a committed group of farmers, actually multiple committed groups of farmers, who have turned their focus to water quality. We have the Farmers Watershed Alliance of Franklin and Grand Isle County. We have a Connecticut River Farmers Alliance, and Paul Doden is here today on behalf of that group. And I'm thrilled to be able to introduce now Brian Kemp, who's the president of the Champlain Valley Farmers Cooperative. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. As Julie said, you know, the Champlain Valley Farmers Group and the Connecticut River and the FWA up north are all groups of farmers that are taking a proactive approach to clean water in Vermont. Clean water is vital to all of us, just as it is to everybody else here today and across the state, and we take it very seriously. We formed 4 years ago to help educate each other, the public sector, to what is going on in the agricultural community, what it takes to operate our businesses and be sustainable. And the governor's budget, you know, is very much working toward that goal of helping everybody that's involved, whether it's sewage treatment, agriculture, you know, infrastructure, everything. And it's vital. A lot of practices on the farms are newly adopted in the last 3 to 5 years, from cover crops that you see growing in the winter now, to no-till, to manure injection. These are all practices that are on the farms, implemented daily and at a cost. Some farms have invested several $100,000s to do some of these practices. So it's important to us. It's part of our daily planning. We all think about it, and we strive to be good stewards of the land. And I think with the organization of these groups and just, you know, the past 5 to 10 years, it just shows that farmers are being proactive. We're trying to do the right thing. Change is slow sometimes, but a lot of these practices, you know, have been done in the West, but they're kind of new to the Northeast, and it takes time, money, and a lot of effort. So we're proud to be part of the process of cleaning up the lake and the other bodies of waters. We all, our families, fish and boat and swim in these lakes and waters also. So they're important to the ag community as well as others around the state.
Thank you, Brian. And the final speaker I am pleased to introduce is Heather Furman, who's the director for the Nature Conservancy here in Vermont. The Nature Conservancy, along with a whole contingent of nonprofits, are really important partners in our watershed work. This includes watershed organizations, conservation districts, local conservation commissions, and many, many more. So thank you, Heather, for being here this morning.
Good morning, everyone. So first I want to thank the governor for hosting Clean Water Week and for all of you coming out here on behalf of Clean Water. For those of you who are not familiar with the Nature Conservancy, I think there's only one thing that you need to take away about us, and that is that we use science and the power of nature to tackle some of our environment's most vexing environmental challenges. And we've been doing that here in Vermont for about 55 years. So others have mentioned that we're coming up on the 6th anniversary of Tropical Storm Irene, when we saw what the power that nature has to really wreak havoc on our communities. But many of us have also heard the story of Middlebury, when we actually witnessed the power of nature to protect that community. Many of the wetlands and floodplains of the Otter Creek above Middlebury that filtered and absorbed floodwaters during the storm were originally purchased and protected and restored by the Nature Conservancy. And we're really proud of the fact that these natural systems spared the community not only nearly $2 million in damages, but prevented the added glut of pollution into Lake Champlain. So over the past 5 decades, we've worked together with our government, business, other nonprofit partners, and community partners to make significant investments in protecting and restoring natural systems like the Otter Creek and other large networks of floodplains and wetlands and river corridors for 3 really important reasons. First, we want to conserve important habitats that enhance our economy by providing opportunities for people to watch wildlife, to fish, and to hunt, because science has proven again and again that by enhancing our economy and by the natural systems can protect our communities from flooding and reduce the costs of rebuilding. And because intact floodplains and wetlands have the potential to eliminate as much as 22% of the phosphorus that's coming into the lake, making this one of the most affordable ways we have to clean our water. And the good news is that we can do this in other places and get the same benefits. Last year, our science team, with the support of our business partners and others, developed a water quality blueprint that identifies the best places to invest in nature to achieve these 3 goals. And together, as Julie mentioned, we're working with the Department of Environmental Conservation every day to get this science into the hands of people who can use it and align our public and private investments into affordable, nature-based solutions that will clean our waters. So I'm really excited by the all-in message, because we really can't do this work alone. We need our business partners. We need continued public investments. It takes partnerships with other conservation organizations to adopt sound science. And of course, it takes the relationships and communities and the farming community who understand that what they do on their land affects the lives and the livelihoods of those downstream. So I have no doubt that we can make real progress simply by protecting and restoring nature. And by doing that, we're securing our future safety net for clean water. So again, I want to thank the governor and his administration for staying focused on the issue of the health of the lake for the future and on our economy. Thank you.
So I'd like to close this morning by once again thanking our generous hosts, the Echo Leahy Center here on Lake Champlain, all of our speakers, all of you for joining us, and encourage everyone to find a clean water event this week to participate in. Again, the website is cleanwater.vermont.gov.